without faith. I understand that everyone here relies on these critical programs and services. But to be clear, the government has $36 billion in debt and a $7 billion budget. If we do not find savings throughout the entirety of the federal government, these vital programs will be ejected. The objective is to make sure that within the system that we do eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse, and that we ensure that the funds needed for you and your loved ones are there.
For some reason, Republican Mike Lawler held his town hall at Clover Stadium in Pomona, New York. But despite the safe distance he stood from his voters, he still thought he could just toss out the old waste, fraud, and abuse line to justify cutting Medicaid. Republicans are so used to getting away with this repetitive nonsense. But people are actually paying attention now. They know exactly what these politicians are doing. And the fact that Lawler's getting this kind of heat in a purple district like this might be a sign that Republicans should be worried all over the place.
There's been a mandate to the president from the American people, am I correct?
No!
There's not a mandate by the American people who's overwhelming.
30%!
The Congressional Budget Office, you know what it's going to be by 2035? It's going to be $59 trillion. Did I tell you? Did I tell you? You've got people who pay more taxes. The top 1% of this country pays taxes, more taxes.
Now, Diana Harshbarger should have known better than to ask that question about mandates waiting for an answer. She represents a district won by Trump by 57 points. You know, we're talking about deep, deep MAGA now. But when she tries to tell the crowd that Trump has that mandate, no one wanted to hear it. Because once hardcore Trump voters don't believe the mandate nonsense, they don't have any excuses left for their authoritarianism.
What the government is doing right now as far as cutting out those jobs, a huge percentage of those people, and I know you care about the veterans, are veterans.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that is a damn shame.
Yes. Yeah.
That is a damn shame.
I'm not a Democrat, but I'm worried about the veterans, man.
All right. Well, I yielded to one of my elders, and I appreciate his comments. I think it's a great. I'm not gonna. We don't have time for everyone to stand up. I do got 2 more commitments today. Appreciate everybody making the drive out, and God bless America. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, that video of Senator Roger Marshall should be played over and over again because it's a perfect illustration of the results of Republican successes in tricking their own voters into believing that they're principled enough to protect the people that they used to get them into office. Ironically, the decision to make Elon Musk the face of their attempt at the biggest heist of American tax dollars is what's forcing people to see the light now. And Republicans have nothing to fall back on when their own base starts demanding these answers. It's why they're getting booed off of the stage. And oddly, when you rob your own voters and don't have Joe Biden to blame it on, it turns out that they notice who the real culprits are.
A lot of people are asking, what can I do? Well, let me just remind you, please, you have power. You have power, and no one, no situation, no circumstance can take it from you. So please stay active, whether it's attending a town hall meeting or volunteering in your community or talking with your friends, your neighbors, your relatives about what's at stake, whether it be this attempt to again give tax cuts to the richest among us while they're trying to get rid of Medicaid. You can make a difference, so please stay active, please stay involved, and I'll see you out there.
In one of the few times that she's been out in front since the election, Kamala Harris is taking advantage of the atmosphere and energy that's building, and she's trying to get folks to stay engaged. Because now the Republicans are losing control of the narrative, the speaker himself warned his colleagues against facing their constituents when they got nothing to offer them, except for their normal fears. The fear of immigrants, crime, whatever culture war nonsense that they're pushing on that particular day. But now that in their minds, Donald Trump's slew of executive orders has forever eliminated diversity, equity, inclusion, some LGBTQ plus rights, the existence of women in the military, and on and on. So now they're wondering when all that affluence that they were promised is going to start coming their way. So while the Republican Party is disappointing its supporters on a mass scale, we're left wondering what kind of message and pushback Democrats are offering. And even though some are singing songs on the House floor in protest, representatives like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are taking the opportunity to put Republican greed in plain terms and in real-life scenarios for people to see what the GOP's version of redistributing the wealth really looks like.
Can you talk to us more about how 8-year-old William would get care without Medicaid if these cuts went through, and how you think that might impact his development?
Right. So my first hunt would have to most likely try to find a health plan that would even accept, if any, his pre-existing conditions. We all know how that would go. And like Mr. Dunham mentioned, financially, it would be ruined. I already work 2 jobs and juggle William's care, but most likely need a third. And I would have to most likely slash half his services, meaning that William would regress. William would most likely lose or have more complications, muscle contractions, increased risks for falls and injury, social isolation, and reduced communication abilities, because if he doesn't have a speech therapist to help him speak or communicate, right? And so much more can potentially impact William. Not to mention, like Mr. Dunham mentioned as well, if I'm not able to care for William or my family can't, I would have to surrender him to the state. And is the state gonna love William and care for him the way we do? No. And the worst case scenario, without services, essentially he can die.
Thank you both. And you both as caregivers, it's important to note that it's not just what is best for your families, but keeping your children out of state care is what is best for everybody.